to Japan's most wanted criminals, to 2 foreigners getting arrested for manga leaks, to the 2 foreigners that got arrested snitching on the kingpin of manga leaks DBS hype, to having Netflix have a massive data breach where something like Dawn to Dawn, Rama, and multiple other series are leaked to the entire public, and then you have multiple pirate sites that have been around for a very long time going offline, like Anywave and stuff that has affected millions of people, and then fast forwarding to a few days ago, where Entai is facing a copyright infringement case. They're obviously losing, and they effectively had to shut down the site for a while, and they had to reroute their database, as you could see here with this picture, and change things around where they can remove the copyrighted material, but also change things to where they obviously don't have to be forced offline, but it's only a matter of time until eventually they probably will have to shut their doors. And then you have the Internet Archive having its appeal rejected, and basically saying that this is the burning of the Library of Alexandria. There's so much content that is about to be lost here. It's like a digital book burning. And then we move over into today. Today's news, where Japan has requested the United States to send over the personal information of those that are leaking manga chapters on Twitter. So let's talk about this. A lot has been going on, and this news story has been actively just been ridiculous for a very, very long time. I mean, as I just showcased, there's just been so many leaks, so much news coverage in just this last year alone. It's ridiculous. And as I've been talking about in multiple videos for the past few weeks, and honestly this entire year, Japan is heavily cracking down on piracy. Not just, let's say, anime sites, not just H-tie sites, but legit manga leaks and spoilers on different platforms, mainly Twitter. And I'm assuming eventually this overall attention is going to probably shift to TikTok, and it's always been kind of taking place on YouTube, where they've been kind of DMCA and stuff on YouTube for a very long time. But into the main point, basically Japan has really went full throttle this past year, and a lot of different, countries as well, full throttle to fight back against internet piracy. And I don't want to, retread everything I've been saying on all these multiple other videos, but as I always say, you can't get rid of piracy. It's going to keep coming back. But let's talk about this story. So basically, to give a brief summary to those that are unaware of what's really going on here and the significance of this post that came out a few hours ago, basically, thanks to the overall leaks that's been happening for a while now, for instance, like this here, for instance, showcasing, all these manga leaks on Twitter, for instance, people getting the chapters early, almost a week early before Shonen Jump officially releases it, and posting a bunch of spoiler images and images all around. Basically, Japan doesn't like that. Mangaka don't like that. Mingo, the artist of Oshinoko, has actively talked about this in recent weeks, about how they do not like their series being spoiled, and they have a digital release on top of that. But the point is that Japan obviously got a list together earlier this year, trying to figure out what's really causing this, and trying to bring these people to justice, so to speak, because obviously their content is being stolen. Now, you're probably wondering, what would lead people to steal this content? What would lead people to posting these leaks online, on Twitter, on TikTok, etc.? Well, there's multiple reasons. The easiest one is clout. I mean, a lot of people that usually post leak images before anyone else is because they like the rush of engagement and clout that they get. But also, there is another reason. Those that obviously get access to leaks and spoilers, for instance, JJK, One Piece, etc., it's a business. It's a criminal business. For instance, you have it in Japan. Some person gets a hold of the magazine copy in Japan of Shonen Jump or other magazines, they scan it, the other person buys it from them, and it basically is this entire system of bringing this magazine into the, internet domain to give to other people to start spreading out. It's a money-making system, there's a lot of money made into it, it's obviously illegal as hell, but that's one of the big reasons why a lot of people do this, and why it will continue to be a thing, because it is a very lucrative business. People will continue to steal Shonen Jump magazines in any way they can, because there is a lot of money to be made by it, and it's very clear that this heavily affects Shonen Jump as well, because in the past few weeks, I made a video 3 weeks ago, talking about the most traffic that's been driven to Twitter, and Mia, one of the biggest leakers on the platform that has released basically daily leaks, or weekly, leaks on JJK for a very long time, they were in the top 5 most active Twitter users in terms of engagement, which is wild. It is actually wild, and you gotta imagine the amount of people that are seeing his post, seeing what he's posting about JJK. That's obviously not okay with Shonen Jump and those in Japan. So yeah, this most wanted list makes a lot of sense, you know, and seeing just the ongoing community interaction with leaks itself and the leak culture, yeah, it makes sense why Japan wants to stomp it out at the source. But obviously, as I've said, even if they were theoretically to get the source, they were to get the leakers, etc., and let's say Mia or whoever associated, the people even beyond him, is captured, other people will go into that space and they will effectively get right in there and they will just fill those gaps. It's kind of like criminal organizations in real life. You just, when there's a gap opened up, more people fill that space. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to remove the weeds, remove the problem, but it's always a case of whack-a-mole that, you know, they're always going to be fighting for the rest of eternity, so to speak. It will always be a thing until the day piracy dies, which piracy is never going to die, so it's always going to be there. Anyways, back into the main point of the post that came out. So with all this information to, like, the foreigners getting arrested and all that, and it had a lot of people speculating, could people in different countries that are theoretically leaking manga panels and stuff face justice in Japan? Because obviously, if you're someone that, let's say, lives in India, lives in the United States, Europe, whatever, and you're not necessarily in Japan, how is Japan supposed to arrest you? That's what a lot of people start to think. But this post, and with the United States government complying with, for instance, Japan here, this basically means that those that are in different countries will now start to potentially face criminal justice. And let's explain. So, people are wondering, okay, so obviously Japan is going to the US court to issue this and all that, to disclose the personal information of these individuals, these leakers, etc. How is this going to affect someone that, say, theoretically lives in Europe, theoretically lives in South America, lives in India, lives in China, etc.? You get the point. Well, obviously, it's going to vary from country to country and how the government reacts, but the point is that if Japan does get through with this and they do get the personal information, they will have access to those that browse the platform. For instance, if you have Twitter Blue, you know, you're going to be putting your personal information on the said site. And basically that means you would have to put your actual real name, your legal address, everything like that, your account information, to be able to have Twitter Blue. And the thing about this is that it's a United States company, which is why it's important. That means the United States has all this information of all these personal accounts. So, if theoretically they do give over the personal information, even if you, let's say, live in India or you live in other places, your personal information still will be given over because you are using an American company. So then, what will happen then is that you won't be, let's say, America won't come after you. What will happen is Japan will now know your information, and they will effectively, you know, subpoena probably, like, the government of whatever country you live in to try to seek criminal justice against you. Now, once again, this varies from country to country. The country will even comply with Japan, but the point of the matter is that Japan is effectively getting the personal information of those that are now trying to leak manga on their said platform. So those that think they're behind some form of mask, either with a fake name or anything, if you have used Twitter Blue and you're actively using Twitter Blue and you've linked yourself to the site, then you 100% have your personal information online that now can be accessed by Japan to theoretically arrest you in the future if the country obviously complies. So yeah, this is a pretty big deal. This means that massive leakers, clout chasers, etc. theoretically can face criminal justice in the future. Now, I don't know exactly how all the laws work, how all governments work and all that, but the point is this is a pretty massive deal, because people will be quick to write this off saying this isn't going to affect them if they're a leaker in a different country, but it doesn't matter. If you have Twitter Blue, your name is going to be given to Japan, if the United States obviously complies with this. So, yeah, that's where we are today. So, yeah, this information's honestly just straight wild. There's a lot of stuff that's obviously been going on now, but just to actually see this it's pretty crazy, man. Like, Japan really has been going hard in the paint, and so is the United States and other countries as well. I don't know what's really happening. I don't know why all these countries have now gotten together to really fight back against piracy, but it's definitely been a very big thing as of late. They've always fought back, but it feels increasingly more pressure put onto them. Now, I want to state this before we go any further. It is in the legal right of these companies to DMCA and copyright strike, etc. It is completely in their legal right. If it is a legal takedown or copyright infringement, yeah, I can understand why they do it. They're in their right to do so. But the thing is sometimes piracy is a service problem, but sometimes piracy is not a service problem. And in this case, if you're actively stealing leaks and manga and stuff and buying it and trying to be a part of, like, this criminal system, then obviously that is no longer a service problem. You're just trying to make a profit off of people. That's what it really comes down to. So anyways, I'll leave it with that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and you would like more content from me, please subscribe or leave a like on the video. It does help me out quite a bit, and I love you guys. Chibi out.